ladies and gentlemen, here on Live Now with Speed Zone TV here. We are here with the Citadel Next Gens once more. And today, we take a trip down into the land of the Lone Star State, Texas Motor Speedway. Now up and running for today's action today. Hi, everyone. I am the Dead Man. Christian Schreiber joining you here once more. And if you haven't already kind of guessed, I got a new microphone and I got a new thing in hand. But we got a whole bunch of drivers that are ready to get down to the business, so let's take a look at them. Start him on the pole, the number 34. That'll be the bounty hunter. Sean Bounty. Outside the 12 is Joshua Hayes. Row number 2, Malcolm Bennett Bernabe. In the number 1, the outside. And the number 4 is Reese Kelva. Row number 3, the 15 is Jonathan Shoemaker. The outside 64 is Aaron Geheb. Row 4, the 21, Levi Casey. Outside 33 is Samuel Mitchell. Row number 5 is the 26, Dylan Jasperson. Outside the 84 is Luke Dietz. Row number 6 is the 54, Matthew McGill. The outside, the 18 is Christopher Cassad. And finally, in the number 17 tonight, it will be Nicholas Schreiber, driver of the 17 as green flag flies on out. We are now in running and racing. Apologies in advance for the rush broadcast here, folks. Had to jump in quickly here as I was trying to get some breakfast in down here at the track. They make some mean old steak and cheese egg glommets here, I'm telling you. Not enough about getting me hungry right now here. Let's get down to the racing action here. Out of the gate is the bounty hunter. Sean Bounty takes the early lead ahead of the crash bandicooted up number 1 of Malcolm Bernabe. I hope I am saying that last name right. It's either Bernabe or Bernabe. I'm going to go with Bernabe for now, but if it's Bernabe, I apologize. Levi Casey here. And the number 21 immediately jumping on the trade and trying to get some momentum kicked up around the track here. Rocking hard and pushing the speeds down to the limits here. Trying to stay ahead of the number 12, Joshua Hayes, and a Laughing Clown scheme. No, that's not some kind of a joke or a riddle at him. That's literally the sponsor. And if you remember Talladega Nights, that car should look very familiar to you. Slinging up on the outside lane, the Superflow, number 15, Jonathan Shoemaker. Having some company up on his doorstep here as he now tries the muscle in charge ahead there, Joshua Hayes. Now, if I remember right, I believe this is the old Texas configuration here. I don't believe this is the new one. Oh, speaking of old, but same old stuff. Situation on turn number 2. Big slam and a wreck there between the 33 and the 15. Yellow is out. Slow down, guys. Wasn't trying to throw any kind of shade at anybody there. What I was trying to mean is that Texas Motor Speedway is a very, very nasty little track. For one consideration, this place does not exactly make it easy to make passes, nor does it make it easy to make runs around here. Okay, I'm up on the outside there and right up. See, again, he just lost a little bit of control, and man, that's how hard it is to hold these things on ground. I just got walloped right off the end there and just couldn't get out of it. In this case here, we'll take one last look at it here. Watch the cockpit view here of Shoemaker. Came up, and you can see again, as soon as it got loose, he had no control, and then once he got mashed, there was no getting around that. And just drove right down into the 33. Unfortunately, nowhere to go there either. Shoemaker definitely not going to be too happy out of the gate here with this one. It's time now, race fans, to have a little chat here with our drivers. Let's take a listen. We're going to start by joining here with the number 12 here, Joshua Hayes. Josh, do you have a copy down there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, Josh, good to hear from you today here. And out of the gate, you know, he made some early runs and made some early progression there, staying into the top 30 spots. Now, having to be up front as everyone else goes into pit road. What's going to be the strategy now to have to kind of play out here at Texas?
Trying to keep the back end under control and go as fast as I can.
Keep back end under control now. I kind of wanted to ask you about this too, because we just saw what happened there to the number 15 Shoemaker. I mean, obviously he got a little bit loose off turn number 2. Why is it so hard to keep these things under control, especially in corners like this here at Texas?
Well, there's just Not much banking, I'm assuming. I mean, it's high bank, but when you're coming in at these speeds, it's kind of hard slowing down and keeping the back end straight.
For sure there. All right, well, nevertheless, Josh, we appreciate your time down there. Good luck as you get ready to race them back down on the green.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh Hayes, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, and we're going to take a quick chat in here now with the old bounty hunter again. Sean, do you have the copy?
I got you.
All right, Sean, coming off of a win last time out again, now having to go head-to-head here from the Texas Motor Speedway side. What's the biggest difference maker you have to kind of put into your head just to be able to go from a plate track to now a mile-and-a-half cookie cutter?
It's just a completely different style of track. I don't feel mentally is any different. You just let off the gas more.
Doesn't it kind of make in this case though, isn't it a little harder to kind of keep these cars, especially this next gen, more under control though, considering how difficult that these bankings are around here compared to like when you dealt with the Daytona?
It's, you get your practice in, you get your reps in. Every single track has its own unique characteristics. Even the difference between Daytona and Talladega has their own differences you worry about. But yeah, it's just finding the discipline of the track and what it asks of you, and just letting your car do that.
All right, Bounty. Well, we appreciate your time down there. Best of luck as you get to finding the differences of the track tonight.
Yeah, 10-4.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bounty hunter, Sean Bounty, joining us once more there as we get ready to fire him back up to the green flag. Malcolm Bernabé, as well as Joshua Hayes staying out. Matthew McGill also decided to stay out, and Luke Dietz as well. Those are the only drivers that did not go into pit lane. Buttery Apex has joined us here on the comment section here. Thank you for joining us here today. Although I won't quite really read the comment as he wrote it there. He was just kind of saying at least that this time it wasn't trouble when drivers were on the lap traffic situation. Yeah, I will say it's going to be a lot easier for these drivers to have to kind of nail down their speeds and nail down their runs, especially considering how tough this will get. Watch for the drivers, though, to get really nailing down on the throttle here as the green flag flies back on out. Malcolm immediately getting a good jump out of the gate. McGill and Bounty hunting him down. Old Atlanta, known for its very tough entries and corners to have to master, and track being so slick and hard to grip. Texas is no different, but the biggest difference here is less of being able to hit the throttle down and keeping that speed going all the way through, and more of pacing, control, and significance in through these lanes. Now again, this being Old Texas, I believe. If this is not Old Texas, then I am really off on my configurations here. But I'm pretty sure this is Old Texas they are running today, because the backstretch doesn't look the same as I remembered it from the New Texas. But nevertheless, here, what this Old Texas track will do is that because they are running on this configuration, the outside, the middle side does have grip and it has room up there, so you don't have to necessarily worry about going up too high there or going up too quick. But the biggest difference, without a doubt, is basically trying to avoid over throttle and over centering on the corners. That backstretch angle that they go into is extremely difficult to nail down. We're going to go on board here, Christopher Cassata. I want you to listen to the difference in throttle rhythm from the stretches to the turns. Listen. You notice how gingerly he gets back on the throttle, gets back into the pace again. That's what I was talking about. In 3 and 4, you don't have as much of that issue. You can nail down the speed a little bit because you got a little bit less banking that kind of travels you up and gives you more time to catch that drift and catch that speed. But the biggest problem, again, is this next-gen car, without a doubt, it's going to give drivers a lot of troubles down there, and Luke Dietz finding that out the hard way right in front of us here. Talk a bit of a whip off turn number 4 there. Let's take a look at the replay. Battling hard there with Christopher Cassad. Doesn't look like he touched him. Looked like he just got loose on his own. Oh, yeah, right off the front straightaway. Excuse me, I may not need to say turn 4. I meant the front straightaway. He got too low in the grass, and again, once that car hit grass, it was basically rocking on icicles. 13 down of a 134-lap race, and right now Malcolm Bernabe has been passed up by Sean Bounty. The Bounty Hunter is back in his own zone. Yeah, the drivers did tell me throughout this season, watch out for him. He's going to be the one that's going to be really pushing this thing to a new level and really giving him a lot of trouble down there, and that was something we just saw there. Something interesting there we just noticed. Samuel Mitchell, notice how he got in and out of the throttle there, but he shifted up. So that tells me some of these drivers have got this thing set up more that the shift in and shift down depending on the angle of the corner and where they're at. Oh, right there, turn number 1. So he's not shifting down in turn 3 and 4 because he can keep his speed up there, but in 1 and 2, he's slowing down so much that he's shifting down to basically get the car to take a set and make sure it gets a little bit more momentum to carry through and around that turn. 3 and 4, he doesn't have that issue. He can stay full throttle and then basically just kind of steer it down on the front straightaway. And then as he heads for the treacherous 1 and 2, gets it back down and lets it set up. Again, he's trying to follow a very specific line right now. He doesn't want to go to the outside lane and have to stay in 5th gear. He wants to go straight in to the bottom lane and then shoot down up again. That's how you usually want to run here, especially out in the early going. But as the tires start to wear in, as the rubber starts to build up on the track, look for the drivers to migrate around a bit. That's the big kicker. Let's take a look at our Track Tech Talk, presented in part by Lightning Wraps tonight. Texas Motor Speedway again, here in Fort Worth, Texas. Temperature right now, extremely hot. What else is new? It's Texas, guys. What were you expecting? The 80-degree temperature right now, temperature on the track, 105 degrees, 15-mile-per-hour wind. So again, this track is hot. This place is going to be very tough. Oh! To get things figured out down there, and you just saw why. Joshua Hayes, the number 12, has come to a stop here in front of us. Something going wrong for the number 12 here. Let's take a look at the replay. Very surprising considering clearly he was right there up into the top 3 bracket. What happened to the 12? Oh, he got, whoa! He got really tight there off turn number 4 and then bashed the wall in. Oh my gosh. Fell back a lot of positions here, and that really did not help him at all there. And what a terrible break there for him and his team. Take another look at it and see what exactly transpired here that got him into this mess. Look, he was down in 4th gear, then he shifted up. I don't know if that was necessarily what he had in mind, but it looked like as soon as he shifted, it looked like the throttle rhythm was so off on that he couldn't get it to steer back in. It tightened up on him too much and he had nowhere to go. Too much over under and that thing will not turn. And that stirred up a lot of trouble for him, and now Hayes in pit road. He's going to try to hopefully get it back out here, but that is a lot of damage. He's got to get fixed up. Not to mention the time it takes to tow and everything too. And Matthew McGill again going to stay out on the track. This is now the second time he stayed out. He's not in the chats here for me to be able to pull in, so we'll have to kind of leave him alone. One driver that is, though, in there real quick that we can have a quick little session of talking to is this man right here, driver number 26 here, Dylan Jasperson. Jasper, do you got a copy down there, my good sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, hey, Dylan, man, right now, kind of playing into a very interesting strategy. You got a driver right ahead that hasn't been to pit road yet. You went on lap number 4. Has that kind of been just really to kind of keep the tires settled down and keep the fuel run at bay here for the long run?
Yeah, I suppose. I took a little damage there on turn 4 and got shuffled back to the back of the pack, and I don't know. Got to try something to gain some position.
With how hard this car has been kind of handled for some here right now, what have you been kind of doing to kind of stay focused on keeping this thing under control and taking care of it in certain cases?
Just really trying to, you know, pressure myself for throttle control and try not to let it step out too far on me.
For sure there. All right, well, Dylan, we do appreciate your time down there. Best of luck there, sir.
Yeah, thank you much.
Thank you. Dylan Jesperson, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and have a quick little talk with the driver of the number 17. Nick Schreiber now joins us here. And Nick, at the moment here, currently you're holding into the 7th spot, having to start from the tail end of the field. What will we be doing today to try to get this Fireball whiskey up to the front if possible?
I'm going with the same strategy as last week. Gonna hang in the back, and towards the end I'll start making moves.
Start making moves indeed. Now, with how tough things have been here on some of these drivers, do you think a lot of them are kind of underestimating how tough that this place can be, especially on the long runs here?
I think they are underestimating number 2, or turn 2. It is very slick in that corner. He's gonna have to take it easy through it.
Fair enough there. All right, well, Nicholas, we appreciate your time here today. Best of luck on this restart.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Nick Schreiber, ladies and gentlemen, joining us real quick onto the show here as we are now ready to fire him back down and get things under control once again. Matthew McGill will lead us down to the line here. We'll see how he handles and how he fares. This one should be an interesting one. Field working their way right off round of turn number 4 here. Looking for the green, heading into the lightning wraps restart zone. And it is now showtime once again. Green charges up and we're off and running. Buttery Apex, I mean, to be fair on that, if Shoemaker does get his lead lap back and he's racing for the lead, I consider that a pretty impressive battle there for his case. But he's got a long road ahead of him before he can even think about that. It's not impossible, though. And you heard Nick Schreiber say a second ago, too. I think a lot of these drivers, indeed, the same thing I was thinking. We have turn 2 that is so treacherous and very tough to handle. On New Texas, it was 1 and 2. On Old Texas, it's mainly just turn number 2 that catches a lot of drivers off guard here. And right now, Nick kind of showing a lot of them that you don't need to be bad fast out of the gate. You just need to let everyone else take themselves out of the playing field. Shoemaker's back into pit road. Hayes now still in there trying to get things out of there and get back on the track. As time has elapsed right now, things starting to kind of be a little bit more centerfold on what these drivers are trying to aim for and what they're trying to go. The goal, again, should always be stay focused on the rhythm and stay focused on your run. And at this point as well, might as well just add in, you need to take down the old bounty hunter when you can. Reese Kelver right now looking to do just that here as he pilots the big Chevrolet Camaro. I don't want to call it a zombie body, but honestly, I can't keep calling it the Camaro. It literally is not even being produced anymore. And even Chevy themselves just call it the Chevy. But nevertheless, Reese Kelva here just starting to gain a little bit of traction, a little bit of a foothold down there. He's doing what he can right now to get to Bounty. Bounty again, though, right at the moment, you can see how focused and smooth he is. Just kind of taking things under control, not letting him get over-accelerated, not getting too quick on the nose. He's being extremely smooth and cautious. Best way I always told people is, like, when you got a race like this and you got 2 drivers that know what they're doing, 2 drivers that know what they're set up for, on a long run stint, it almost kind of turns into what I call a sprint car race style-esque move, which is basically the full power and speed that those machines can provide is being put down to good use. But what it does is, as well, is that basically it makes everyone have to either try to stay with that pace, or they're basically playing different strategies and hoping for some breaks once in a while. It doesn't always come and it doesn't always get into place, but again, it's a different style of racing, but it's kind of a mixture of that as well as the long-term game versus long-term loss. Christopher Cassad going way up high there, now letting up into the number 17 Schreiber, 6 spots up. Currently tied with that is Matthew McGill is 6 spots as well, but the Monster Energy 54, I would like to remind people, has not gone to pit road yet. He has not been in the pits one time yet. Dylan Jasperson needs to be a little bit careful though, as he's got a little bit of a clutch-graphic lemon trying to take him back down to the depths of the Shadow Realm in iRacing's land. McGill again continuing to kind of keep his pace, and it gets very interesting to me that he's done this so far, considering that there's a who's who of drivers right now that would love nothing more than to try and take away positions and lane choices here. Backing into the lane right now, Christopher Cassad here again having to back down quickly. You can just see how tough these cars are to handle. Just notice again how gingerly he steers the corner in and hits the throttle. I've always said that when you're racing in these kind of situations, you got to literally drive the car like there's an eggshell right underneath your foot. And you don't want to crack the eggshell, so you got to be nice and gentle, nice and smooth, and when you push down. That's been kind of an old saying that used in racing is like, imagine you have an eggshell underneath you. The only time you go full throttle, full send is when you know you got grip. Aaron Gehep right now currently into pit road here as the number 64 machine tries to get himself out of there quickly. Looks like taking some tires on and some other lanes there. Shoemaker, massive damage on his car there. And I think he's trying to figure out where pit road is or something like that, because right now he's struggling to get in there. It's time to take a look at our track talk time here. This is the time delta presented in part by Studman's Hitless. I want you to look right there in the middle of your screen on that there for Kelva. Kelva right now, he's currently setting a solid pace of around 31 seconds as well. Boundy in the 30-second mark, now gone to the 31 there. But notice how fast that Kelva has pushed up the distance on the gap of Boundy. That sea of green, as I like to call it, dictates a whole situation, and Boundy knows it. He cannot be running too much slower or too much less on it. Just takes one wrong mistake and one wrong move, and the next thing you know, you're pretty much right in no man's land. Boundy again continuing to kind of keep things under control and keep things more centered in on the circuit. Now you may also kind of be wondering at home, hey, wait a minute, doesn't this track literally look like Charlotte Motor Speedway? Well, let me give you a little brief rundown on this. Yes, the configuration and the style of it is very reminiscent and similar to Charlotte Motor Speedway. However, this track in itself was configured with Bruton Smith in mind. He made Texas Motor Speedway to get into the bigger markets like Fort Worth, Texas, to not only try and raise more, you know, obviously awareness in different cities and different states, but also because, you know, it's literally a high frequency state with high volumes of people coming through in and out. Why would you not? Which I don't blame them. The problem though is that when they made this track to look at the same shape as Charlotte Motor Speedway, there was one little thing they forgot to do, which was to make sure they had all their ducks in a row and when they set this thing up. The fun fact is the very first race they ever made this track, pit road was actually way too narrow and not a way for them to get in and out quickly enough, especially when you come on through some of these corners and some of these turns. So what happened was that they had to do a reconfiguration then, and then the second race there was another lap one wreck that caused a lot of drivers to crash out and had to reconfigure it again. And I think it was only like 2 or 3 configurations after spending millions of dollars finally getting this track figured out that it basically provided what most NASCAR fans to this day do not care for at all. There's a lot of fans that genuinely hate this track. Me personally, I'm not in the I absolutely hate it category, but I'm not a fan of this track. I'll say that much. So I can only imagine what these drivers again are facing up against and having to deal with in this kind of a situation, realizing that they are on a track that it's very tough to nail down and master, and a lot of drivers are just trying to get things configured and under control. That isn't to say, though, that here on Speed Zone TV, we haven't had some incredible racing been done here on this track. As a matter of fact, if you guys have iRacing and you know what I'm talking about here, if you look up the Texas Roval, yes, there is, this whole track has a road course inside of it. If you run that instead of the oval, in my opinion, that's the best configuration this track has ever produced. And in my opinion, it is absolutely top tier racing. And if you don't believe me, we literally had an old clip that was chipped up a long time ago when we had the Daytona prototypes running around here. And they had the closest finish we could ever have imagined here, with a finish that was literally past the 10,000th of a second. It was a dead heat tie to the line, and from our configuration, both drivers tied that day and won the race. That's how close that was. Still one of my most memorable calls too, and I know it's still on this channel, so if you want to watch it, it's there. But that was some of the best racing we've ever seen. Speaking of some great racing, again, now here's a great battle up on the bottom lane here. Jasperson and the number 26, Halveline. He goes flying down the inside, and again, that bottom lane on turn 1 and 2. It doesn't surprise me that, again, these drivers are getting a lot of speed and momentum up there. The longer this one goes, again, you got to kind of figure things in and kind of remember that this is going to be a very tall order and a very tough drive for a lot of these guys, and to really kind of find where the lanes change, where the position goes, and whether or not that'll be the best position to put yourself in. At the moment, like I said right now, if you stay to the bottom lane, it seems to be doing you good, but you do slow down a lot. 3 and 4 don't have the same issue. And that's why you're seeing a lot less passes between 3 and 4 and a lot more on 1 and 2 at the moment. Not to say that we haven't seen any in 3 and 4. It's just when you think about it, 1 and 2, you have a little bit of run on the outside when the tires finally start to catch in, but again, you got to worry about that treacherous exit of turn 2, and that's where things really get very difficult. And we got a crash on the track here. We got a problem down there. We have a yellow out on the circuit. Dylan Jasperson has come to a dead stop on the back half. Not sure exactly what happened here or what transpired, but we're going to the Speed Zone TV instant replay to find out more. Oh yeah, Jasperson right here. You know, he got loose right in front of the whole field. Oh! Great awareness by the drivers there to get out of the way quickly. Man, he slipped that thing up terribly out turn 2, and it's like what Nick Schreier said earlier. Turn 2 is where a lot of these drivers are not taking that into consideration. They're being way too lenient, thinking they can get too hard on that throttle. And this car, like I said, it does not like to be fumbled around with. If it gets loose, you're loose, and it's gone. It's hard to catch saves in this car. And right there on lap number 42, you just saw why. Jasperson right now cannot be a happy camper, though. Apologies in advance if you heard a couple of little four-legged machines running around here. They thought they saw something down there, or were just trying to figure out what was going on the booth here. We'll give him a quick second to get in and out of pit road here. Well, looks like we're going to go chat with the number 18, Christopher Cassad, here in a second, as he's currently trying to get into pit road again. It's not easy getting in and out of pit road, I'll tell you that much, especially with this car. You got to be perfect with this thing almost, and it's something that drives me so much with this next gen. Because even when you are perfect, that doesn't mean anything. Give him a quick second to get in and out of pit road here. See if you'd like to join us here in the booth. Christopher, you got a copy down there?
Yes, I do.
All right, Christopher, good to hear from you again. And great track awareness coming off turn or two there as you saw Jasperson slip out there. I mean, how are you able to kind of keep this thing settled down and stable, especially considering how tough it is to kind of avoid problems there off turn two?
Well, I've had my fair share of almost incidents out of turn 2, so I am babying the throttle like there is no tomorrow out of that turn.
One thing I want to kind of ask you too is a lot of drivers seem to be kind of backing another gear down. I believe you were also one of them. I was going in through turn number 1 and 2 and going from, instead of being in 5th down to 4th. Why is that, and why is it that a lot of drivers, you know, consider doing that versus having to nail down the throttle down in 3 and 4?
Well, I tried that for like 2 laps and I didn't like how it felt, so I'm staying in 5th all the way around right now. But my guess is it probably helps with the turning ability in 1 and 2. And in 3 and 4, you're able to, like you said, hold it down a little more. But once you get farther into a run, you got to start babying it in 3 and 4 as well.
For sure there. All right, well, Christopher, we do appreciate your time down there, good sir, and best of luck as you get ready to fire back down.
Copy that, copy that.
Ladies and gentlemen, yep, oops, sorry. You too, Christopher. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Cassad. He was trying to say a few extra things. I didn't mean to drop him back down that quick. The Bounty Hunter, Sean Bounty, will lead us back down the line from pit road side. Everybody went into pit road. Hayes and Shoemaker right now still getting anything they can fixed up, but at this point, those two not looking good on returning to the track. Aaron Geheb now is a lap down as well. So he is, and he went on pit road on lap 42, so he actually probably in a bit of a worse position right now, but there is slight damage on the right front of the level 164 machine. The level 1 gaming machine will need to be careful here as they get him rolled back all around the circuit. Off the distance from turn number 4 here, once again here, looking at the Lightning Wraps restart zone here, and the green flag charges back up. We're firing them up again. You know, I usually can say you can feel the power coming off the line, but the thing is, like, as soon as you hit that gas pedal down on that front straightaway, it is literally as flat of a surface as they get, so you got to be very careful easing that thing up and make sure you got grip before you go. I'm not sure there's too much fireball inside that 17, or if he maybe was just a little bit woozy out of the way. He managed to slamp that wall coming off turn number 4, but stays under control. He's now 8 spots up. He's tied again still with the Hard Charger Award recipient is with Matthew McGill. I don't know how Matthew does it. He's literally stayed in the top brackets all this time, and yet rarely went into pit road except for that final pit stop there. Finally went into pit road. Again, I gotta believe a lot of drivers are trying to conserve up the fuel and trying to get their tires more centered in. But for Sean Bounty right now, company on his doorstep, look to the inside. We've got a battle for the race lead. Bounty trying to keep him under control. And Bernabe not able to get the Bandicoot up in there and do a little spin dash on him. Instead, he wants to go full steam and full charge, trying to break through this one. That's a bad Bandicoot right there. And he's up high, side wide. Bounty on the bottom. Malcolm trying to get it to stick. Oh, mama, that thing was loosey-goosey, but he holds onto it, and Bounty getting shown the outside lane does have position if he can hold it. Well done by Malcolm, and for that, he takes the race lead. That was clever. That was very risky, and that was a high-risk maneuver, but again, he was able to stabilize the car down and able to get things rolling back around. And being able to steer that thing in like that, that takes a lot of determination and a lot of focus just to be able to kind of stay in control and stay in that position. That is a very difficult lane that he came off from, but he made it work. Well done there. Samuel Mitchell right now, 8-Bit Gaming's 33. looking on. Maybe it's patrolling the gaps and patrolling things through as you got a cracked house here tonight. And Samuel sounds like he might have gone into 4th gear there. Yeah, he did. I was like thinking he might have pushed it into 4th gear. As you see him switching into 5th gear there as he pulls it up. Gotta give iRacing credit for the animation. At least they kind of got that figured out. The 8-bit racing, I meant to say there, Samuel, not gaming. My apologies. The level 1 gaming is the 64 of Aaron Geheb. The 8-bit racing is the 33 of Mitchell. I wonder if he was 8-bit gaming if he was playing Bigfoot back in the day or a Pro C RC cross stack then. Hard to say. A little bit of while, so we're talking about Levi Casey here. Levi Casey right now. Having a little bit of a look right now on the outside of the 33 as he's coming for the treacherous turns 1 and 2. And imagine this, race fans, for 134 laps, you've got to find a way to deal with 1 and 2 and still not end up on the fence or in the inside wall. That is something that I guarantee it would make anybody go a little crazy. But then again, we are racers. We're always been a little crazy. Way wide off the distance there for Levi, but you look at that speed he carries through there. Notice how he went so far up on the outside lane there in 3 and 4, but he still managed to maintain the speed. Again, that's the difference maker I was talking about earlier. That's how much of a difference you have in 1 and 2 versus you have in 3 and 4. If you're able to make things work and able to keep things under control, it really does make things much more intriguing at the same time, very intelligently able to hold on. Field continuing to kind of push themselves into the lanes and farther into the distance here. The number 12, Joshua Hayes, now back out on the track right behind the lap leaders here. And again, he's got a lot of laps he's going to need here. Looks like we're going to have a little company here for the rest of this race here, race fans. Joining me now here is the driver of the number 15, Jonathan Shoemaker. And Jonathan, no, obviously this was very tough little track here, tough little race for you here on the circuit. What was going on down there and what was giving you so much trouble here at Texas?
Oh, I mean, usually I'm pretty solid at Texas. I love Texas Motor Speedway. It's my home track. But today was just a rough running for us. You know, trying to avoid some cars in the field, and unfortunately, that first spin kind of got me sideways and lost it, early in the race on cold tires and trying to make quick movements around another car, and then, later in the race, unfortunately, just got clipped by somebody else. But, those things happen, just trying to push through the field and race.
For sure there. Well, Jonathan, as we're kind of watching on, if you wanted to kind of hang around the booth, feel free here, as long as you don't mind hearing my loud, obnoxious voice kind of coming in and out every now and then.
Oh, no worries, Chris. I'll raid the booth with you here, and we can bounce back and forth off each other.
Yeah, sure, why not here? Well, we're kind of bouncing back and forth. I mean, let's look at this battle right now, because Sean Bounty and Malcolm Bernabé, those two just do not like each other right now for whatever it's worth. The Bandicoot and the Bounty Hunter seem to have two different perspectives. I'm not sure if the Bandicoot has tried to talk to Aku to help him keep more speed under control or get some tips, because the Bounty Hunter right now is firing on all cylinders, and he's got a whole bunch of guns thrown right at him here.
Oh, really what it is, Chris, I think he's just falling right into Sean's hands. I think Sean has been setting him up through this race. He's been kind of saving tires, running the same line the whole time, being consistent. Whereas, Bernabe's kind of been running up on him and running hard. It looks like he's just kind of wore his tires out, and he's having trouble keeping pace with them.
Well, the thing is, we always talk about here is, again, consistency is everything, but when you got a driver that's literally coming right up on your doorstep and now pushing yourself to this new limit, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a very frustrating situation. I have to tell yourself, like, hey, no, don't give in to him just yet. Like, be patient and lay off. But, I mean, as a driver, you don't think that way. You always think, get to the front, stay ahead, and do what you can, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're all Ricky Bobby at heart. You know, we all just want to go fast, and you know, if you ain't first, you're last. So that's the mentality you get into. You kind of get that tunnel vision, and it's hard to get yourself out of that, snap out, and be like, okay, let me take a breath. It's a long race. I got to save these tires, and we can chase them hard in the last few. We got to make it there before we get there. You know.
So you got to get there indeed, and Bernabe right now looked like he found a way to get there and now able to keep some speed up. He was able to get back around to the Bounty Hunter here, and Bounty, I got to believe right now, probably, as a driver, he's probably having to realize that, yeah, he's probably trying to overpush his luck and trying to overstep his boundaries, so he knows he's kind of backing off to kind of give himself some breathing room here as we now look back into the field as well. Matthew McGill still holding on Christopher Sadden. You know, I wanted to kind of focus in on McGill's strategy. You know, when he was on a long run stint, he never went into pit road until literally that last pit stop that these guys finally went in. Is it really kind of more of an idea just to kind of stay up ahead, keep position, try to get points up on the board, or is it really more, you know, kind of trying to keep the tires in that pit stall and just only use what fuel you need for the later half?
It really just depends. I mean, if you have the fuel to stay out by all means. But if the rest of the field pits, I wouldn't want to be the one guy on older tires, you know. So it really just depends on the situation. You got to take it case by case. Of course, everybody kind of has a strategy they're thinking of going in. You know, if we don't run this many laps green, if we have this many cautions, so on and so forth. But you kind of get, like I said, have to take it step by step as the field goes. And like I said, I don't want to be the only only guy out there on 3-lap older tires if the whole rest of the field goes into the pits.
And as that is being said right now, McGill's now starting to make his moves off the charge here. Reese Kelver earlier on, we saw how fast he can be as well, keeping his pace with Bounty as McGill a little bit loose, it looks like, off of turn number 4 there. Car kind of swinging down on the inside there. Has to reset and restructure, but unfortunately costing himself 2 positions. That's a double whammy for the 54. So one thing too as well, Shoemaker, I want to kind of bring to our attention, this is what I was kind of saying a lot throughout the show here, is that again, and now you as a driver, you can experience, because you said this is your home track, but there's 2 different Texases that we have here on iRacing. The one that obviously most people race these days is the 2018 version, but this one right here, I believe it's a 2008 style version, and the banking, the corners and everything are 2 completely different kind of setup, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe there is a little bit of difference between the 2, and I think the racing surface is also a little bit different. I think this one's a little bumpier, to be honest.
Now, you say a little bit
Definitely got to watch out for turn 2.
I was going to say, you say a little bit bumpier. Does the banking kind of travel off from 1 and 2 there in the new Texas versus this old Texas? Do you think that's a little bit harder or a little bit easier in your case?
I think it's definitely easier on the newer version, you know, after they redid the surfaces and kind of changed that banking a little bit. You just get super loose coming out of 2 in this old style if you're not careful with your throttle control.
I guess I kind of thought otherwise of it, because I always felt like, you know, when a lot of drivers kind of say with the new version that turn 1 and 2 before they updated things and they changed the banking up was much more treacherous, a lot harder to master, because you really didn't have that outside lane to work with. But you're saying that because of the bumps here on this older version, even though you can run the outside lane as long as you know what you're doing, it's still a little bit easier to run in 1 and 2. But really, I would think that's because a lot of it has to fall back to the same situation we're seeing now in a lot of drivers, which is they're being able to use the bottom lane of the track versus having to work around the outside in that case.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of guys try to run that bottom lane. I mean, Texas will eat your tires no matter where you run, but if you run outside, you're definitely going to eat them up faster. And in my personal experience, the best line to run, for the most part, and usually where there's going to be the thickest rubber, is going to be down there at the bottom.
Gotta be the case indeed here. Oh, one thing real quick in the comment section here, Bruce Benedict has joined us as well here, showing a little bit of love down there to your boy here as well. So, looks like you had quite a bit of a fan base down there, Shoemaker.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, fans. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching. Join the league if y'all want to drive. We're always looking for new guys to come in, get started. Just like to come out here and have a good time. And
not a bad little backup announcer when you get wrecked out, it seems like, or wreck yourself out. So at least now we got to have something in common we can work with here, my friend.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a future career for me here.
Well,
Might be better than driving.
Well, that's honestly not the easiest thing. I personally prefer driving, but I will say, announcing-wise, if the racing's amazing, trust me, it's a lot of fun to call, but you're really sore on your voice more than you're on your hands and your feet down there.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Speaking of sore on the feet and the hands right now here, I cannot even imagine how bad Bernabe and Spouty right now have got to be feeling inside those cockpits. Malcolm has been able to hold things well under control and stay Bounty in his own lane. And Bounty, again, even though he's following the same line and everything, Bernabe, in my opinion here, Josh, hasn't really, or Jonathan, excuse me, hasn't really changed up all that much from what his style was and what he was doing. Yeah, now I know he ran a lot harder on the outside for one lap. Might have chewed up a little bit of tire there, but it doesn't seem to really be affecting him. I'm kind of thinking maybe whatever tire pressure he put on in those good years tonight seems to be pretty much keeping him at pace and being able to run a much longer run.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see as we get deeper into this here, Chris. But to me, I'm just seeing the amazing maturity and the amount of maturity out of Sean. Because it seems like he's right there. It doesn't seem like he's trying to push him too hard. He's just running his race. He's just running his line. He's waiting for that mistake. He's waiting for that window to open for him where he can take that pass clean. He's not trying to push him, put pressure on him. He's just running his race.
Just running his race, keeping things under control and focus. And one thing too, I'll say this: you and I have both actually had experience racing Bounty. I dealt with him back when I was running the Legacy Prototype Daytona cars, and ironically enough, when I was testing around with him and everything, noticing what a lot of guys, well, there was only about 4 or 5 drivers that I would honestly be confident enough to say that really could keep Bounty in his place and kind of keep him well-centered and more even. But I feel like with this next-gen car, as he's going to the inside here looking for a run here, we'll see how Malcolm handles this. I gotta believe this next-gen car, because of the fact it is pretty much a spec car, that really does a number to a lot of drivers and really not only has to bring out the best in their driving abilities, but it really tests their patience as much as their skills. Because this car, every time I ran it and everything, that rear end, as soon as it kicks out on me, it's not like a dirt car where I can catch them with my front. That rear end slips out. It's almost impossible to catch it on the front unless you really have slowed down enough to get that thing backed in.
Oh, yeah. Well, the good thing about these next-gen cars is there is tons of downforce and not enough power to go along with it. So, yeah, if you come out of turn 2 and you try to overcorrect that thing too, whoa, we got a caution. What we got here?
Caution out on the track here, and I can figure that one out now for you. It's Matthew McGill here on the back straightaway in the number 54 Monster Energy machine. The Chevrolet Zombie Camaro, as I'm going to keep calling it, has come to a stop here. We're going to go take a look at the replay and figure out what happened here. I know he was in that pack for a while racing hard. Let's take a look. Went 3 wide off turn number 2 here with Nick Schreiber, Christopher Cassad. Oh, he just went right up into Nick there. Nick nowhere to go, and McGill, oh. Nick took a hard lick there, and that whole front side of that car basically just took a nasty hit there.
Good recovery to get that car turned back around there. Yeah, tough break.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at it here again. You can see, yeah, it looked like Nick actually got a little bit loose, and he even said earlier that turn 2 really catches you off guard there, and McGill, as soon as he got tagged, he basically went for the ride. Thankfully, the car doesn't look like it took too much damage there, Jonathan, but that's still precious time that now he's got to take into pit road to get that fixed.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully he can get it fixed and get back out here, back on the lead lap, and we can get back to a good green flag race. And we had a good little run there.
Good little run indeed here, and honestly for Nick Schreiber, unless I don't recall, do you guys have faster pairs down there? Were you able to use one?
Yeah, we have one included with the races.
Well, Nick's definitely going to need it because that whole front end is completely tore up. The left side wheels the front wheels are skewed to the left. which means he really does not have any good steering. He's got no power steering down there, so he's going to need to get that fixed ASAP. But out of pit road, it is Malcolm barely being outbounded to the line.
Oh, wow. Just barely beat him out. Well, we'll see how this plays out on fresh tires. Let these guys battle it out, duke it out on fresh tires, see who's more consistent.
I got to believe, though, I mean, if Bounty can keep up with Malcolm running on that bottom lane and Malcolm staying towards the outside, I got to believe that this could honestly turn into a dogfight with the long run stint. But if Malcolm can hold that outside lane, honestly, Bounty does not have any way to really pass up to him unless he forces him right up that outside corner. Those turns are not going to play nicely with him.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. The one thing that I want to point out, too, is before that caution, those two cars, first and second place, had about a 9-second commanding lead over P3. So we'll see what happens when we bunch these cars back up. But let's see if they can break away or see if one of these guys can get up in there with them and push up with them.
In the comment section, Buttery Apex was wanting to see everything kind of play out from here and keep that race battle for the lead on the long stint. And I'll say this, Apex, I know obviously you weren't wanting to see that caution come out, but you got to understand something. That now what this means is that these two on fresher tires and everything, they're going to basically push themselves to their absolute maximum limit, and that's really going to see who can outdrive and outsmart the other. But they've got to be careful now because, Jonathan, like you said, cold tires, they're going to give a whole lot of trouble, and this is something that we're going to need to be very, very aware of here on this now big stint coming up, possibly.
Yeah, we'll see how many guys get loose coming out of 2 for these next 5 laps.
So the field right now, slowly patrolling down the back straightaway here. Malcolm, Sean, Christopher, Reese, Nick, your top 5. And yeah, I did say Nick. Excuse me, Dylan Jasperson is in the, technically the inside row of number 3. So technically he is 5th, but Nick is in the top 6 bracket. So that is the top 6 guys. Matthew McGill, Samuel Mitchell right now looking to try to fight back in this. Luke Diaz, Aaron Geheb, Levi Casey. Well, at this point, unless they throw an anchor on some of these guys, I don't think they're going to really have much of a chance here. But off the distance on the front straightaway, Jonathan, I'll let you take the lead on this one, my friend.
All right, here we go, coming to green. And we have a good restart on the outside. Sean pushing on the inside. Huge lead coming from P1. Bernabe pushing hard. Bounty trying to catch him. Reese hot on his heels. See what happens out of 2. Seems like everybody held it out of 2. All right, first lap down.
First lap down, things starting to kind of now pick up the pace again. Now those tires are going to start to get some rubber put onto the circuit, and again start to put some heat into them. When that heat builds into that tire here, and again, you can ask Jonathan this too, once the heat is inside those tires, that friction now puts down into the surface, and when it has grip on the surface, friction increases speed. Balance increases in traction, as they always say. Speed is everything, and you need that to maintain distance and maintain control.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Finding those spots where that rubber's been laid down and give you that extra grip and definitely give you an edge over a guy fighting you on the outside for sure.
You know, a lot of people still to this day, like, say with how much like put science into the broadcast and everything, that I must have been good at like science class or biology. For the record, I flunked like almost flunked both of my biology and science, as well as like anything to do with really anything to do with that kind of stuff. I was really good at mathematics. That's all I know.
Oh, I was terrible in school, but I had lots of street smarts.
Yeah, lots of street smarts, and yeah, here you are with me just like chatting up in the booth here, watching some drivers right now pushing these things at well over 190 miles per hour and trying to like figure out a way to keep this literally dump truck of a car be able to hold down and lane. That's not me trying to say it's a bad car. I'm saying that literally that's a hunk of metal and heavy weight that you are having to steer and control and hope that you don't lose pressure and control as you go along from not only the steering valves, but also just from how much the track would like to tear and eat anything alive when it feels like it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. These things are heavy and definitely a little underpowered for the amount of weight they have, and definitely a lot of downforce. So the faster you go, the faster this thing's going to dig into the track because of the downforce. But you know, kind of want it to be, you know, what they say, loose is fast, on the edge of out of control. So you want to be a little loose and be able to get around. But look at the gaps in between these cars after the restart. It just seems like everybody, the leaders are running away, and then everybody else, there's a nice consistent gap in between everybody else.
Oh, it's big enough a gap up on that side. Malcolm, slight bobble there on turn number 2, and here comes Bounty on the outside, switches the lanes, and now you've got yourself a battle for the race lead, as now Bounty this time has to figure out how to handle the outside group. I don't think that's where he wanted to be, Jonathan.
Absolutely not. No, we've seen him run the whole race up to this point on that inside line, but like I said earlier, he was looking for that mistake. He was looking for that window where he could try to make a move. Now this is not ideal, probably where he wants to be, but look, he's going to push through. He's been saving the tires. He knows he has it in the gas tank, and he's going to push hard and try to get that lead.
Finally did there off that back straightaway, found a run and found an opening here, as now Malcolm has to go back to his usual tactics of staying to the outside lane, as he's going to hit the draft. Yeah, right off the wall, turn 4. He smacked that thing, but it seemed to almost give him more speed there. He's getting right to the inside. Gets a big run from the Bandicoot.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a just a little mistake by Sean there, or if that wall bounce just gave him the run. But Sean definitely had the run back out of 2. It looked like Bernabe might have gotten a little loose coming out of 2.
Oh, he's getting tight now. Oh, as old JR once said, we've got a slobber knocker here, boys.
Almost had the whole bump and run on him there.
That would have been a love tap for what I like to call bump and runs when you slam it in the back. Love taps is when you just go to the side and just, you know, kind of pull him in for a little kiss. You know, just a little love tap.
My favorite version of the bump and runs at Watkins Glen, whenever you bump the outside guy over the curb, take off running.
Oh man, that's something honestly somebody tried to do to me back at a long time ago, back at the bus stop. And no offense, Rattlesnake Con, but like I still remember that last lap there in those Corvettes. You were sending it on me into that bus stop, my friend.
John's still running away with it here, still holding on. I mean, just having trouble keeping up with him.
I'll be honest with you, Shoemaker. I really don't think he's honestly running away because, again, Malcolm got shit down on the track problem down there for Christopher Cassad.
Got a little loose coming out of 2, I believe.
Oh, look out. We got drivers all over the place. Look out, Dietz. Oh, Lord. What a save there by Christopher. He literally, I don't know if that was a spotter saying, hey, get out of the way quickly. You got somebody coming at you or what, but Dietz almost took the 18 back to the shadow round there. That was a great save by him.
Oh yeah, spun it, caught it, spun it, and then got it going again. That's great recovery. Keep it out of the wall.
Kelva and Jasperson able to do a great avoiding there. Everyone else too. The 12 not so lucky, and then Dietz. I don't know if that's just because. Just right into your living room. I don't know what happened to Dietz. We'll try to see the 12 here in a second as well, but I don't know what happened to Dietz here. It's like I don't know if he saw the wreck in front of him and was trying to slow down or what happened. He's coming up here on the 64.
Did he just lock it up?
I think he locked it up. Yeah, I think he was just like I said. And again, it's not something I'm gonna nail him on. It's again, the end of the day, this car is still something even the best drivers in NASCAR in their actual division struggle with to this day, because this thing is just an absolute unit of trouble and something to figure out down there.
Absolutely, these guys are out here complaining about this car every weekend. So, you know, if those guys are out here complaining about it, they're, you know, we're kind of a step down. We're trying to all master this car as well. So, you know, Texas is a technical track, and it's definitely showing that it definitely turn 2 demands respect from these drivers.
It's demanding a lot of respect and a lot of competition here as we now field everybody back out. And Bounty, just barely going to beat out Malcolm to the line there. That could have been close. Reese Kelva going to join him into the 3rd spot, and I think it's now time to have a chat with him. He has not been with us here for this entire race. Let's have a quick little chat with him here as he now joins me. Reese, you got a copy down there?
Yes, sir. Got you.
All right, well, Reese, right now, man, you've currently been holding in the top 5 bracket for quite most of the day here, but now, what in the heck are you going to have to do here with this PresenterTickets.com machine just to be able to hold on to the lane and keep anything under control with how quick this has been today?
Yeah, I'm just going to have to save my tires. Holy moly.
So what's going through your head, Reese? Like, what's your game plan? It seems like every time we go to a restart, the guys up ahead of you kind of take off. Like, what's your plan to stay with them or to get back to them?
Yeah, I think, you know, they're set on speed, and I think I'm set on IHOP at the moment. That's about all I got at the moment. So we're just going to try and get through this race and get some points. You know, proud of myself for being in third as much as I have been. So, you know, we're just going to have some fun with third here for a little bit and let these two guys go race and have fun, and I'm going to try to not mess anybody else up.
All right, right on, Reese. Appreciate your time down there, my good sir. Good luck on this restart.
Yes, sir. Adios, amigos.
Adios, my friend. Oh, you can definitely hear it in his voice there, Jonathan. He's really just shocked that he's even in the position he is in, let alone being able to hang on as long as he has.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, P3, that's respectable. You're on the podium. I mean, I would not be. I'd be in the same boat he was in. I would be perfectly fine ending the race right here. But unfortunately, we got a lot of racing left here today, and so you never know what's going to happen. Hopefully, he can keep it together and at least finish there. But I think we can see at least a top 5 finish out of Mr. Reese today.
Yeah, crazy to think, too, how many cars we've lost here. I know, obviously, your car got too damaged up earlier on there on lap 26. Joshua Hayes falling on lap 67. Levi Casey out of this one here on lap 70. Luke Dietz here after that terrible situation, trying to get damage fixed up here to try to get back on from lap 88. The rest of the field, minus Aaron Giheb on the lead lap here. Giheb now 2 down. And at this point, just in desperation mode, just trying to hang in there as we bring him right back onto the Lightning Wraps restart zone here off the front straightaway. It'll be Bounty this time that gets the inside lane to charge him up.
There he goes with it, taking off down the front stretch. Huge lead going into turn 1. Reese right on the heels of Bernabe into 2.
Yeah, Reese, honestly, I'm kind of like, is it Bernabe or is it Bernabe? I've been saying Bernabe all day. Is it Bernabe? Or how, does he say how to say it?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard him pronounce it, so.
If he gets in second or wins this, or at least top 3, we got to ask him. We got to make sure we're saying the name right. I don't need pitchforks and torches in the comment section. I already tell people you can whack me upside the head with a frying pan. I usually put my helmet on beforehand. But don't, like, pit the pitchforks and torches to us. Just tell us how to say the name right so we don't mess this up.
Yeah, we'll just go I'll just switch to his first name. Malcolm's pretty easy to pronounce.
Oh, that one I'll give you. Yeah, that's a lot easier to kind of deal with in this case. Speaking of easy to deal with right now. Oh, go ahead. Dylan Jasperson here. Yeah, right now, Dylan Jasperson. He's currently in the top 5. He's 5 spots up from his qualifying spot here today at 9th. And I talked to him earlier on, and even he said, like, flat out, like, having to take the direction from Daytona and having to go here to Texas Motor Speedway, you obviously have to have that same winning mindset, the same confidence in your strategy. But I think one thing that he kind of mentioned to me too was that he was very nervous about how some of the other drivers would handle and how to kind of take care of their machines and their equipment, knowing that now it's not a matter of trying to stay with the draft pack or stay with a certain driver. It's now you literally have so many other dimensions and focus you have to keep an eye on. And with this 105-degree temperature on the track, that makes these things even slicker, especially off that treacherous turn 2 that we all keep mentioning here.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Chris. Those tires, whenever they get hot, they just become grease slicks. You're trying to drive this heavy machine on ice skates essentially. But you know, going back to Dylan, great guy. He's just had a tough run out of it, some bad luck. He just can't catch the break, unfortunately. Just keeps getting caught up in nonsense. He's a great driver, very consistent, very smooth. But he just can't catch a break. Can't get any luck. Oh, look, he's getting loose. Oh, there goes Dylan.
Dylan on the outside, and that's another yellow out on the track. Dylan, back her up, bud. Back her down. Lock the brake. Lock him. Lock him. There we go.
I don't know if damage doesn't look too bad. I think he'll be able to get through, get it going again.
I think he got a little bit of front nose damage on that one. We'll have to see from the replay exactly what transpired. I know he was probably trying to avoid kill over there, but even then, he drove it a little bit harder there into turn one, got it up on the outside quicker. So he was actually already loose going in, but yeah, he definitely took a nice little dig at that front of that wall protection there. But thankfully, considering it's a safer barrier down there, it's not exactly uncommon to basically just kind of plow into it and then find yourself in a little bit of a better situation afterwards still.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely could have been way worse for him there. That Ford Mustang, that pony, definitely took a bruise on its front end, but I think he's going to be okay. I think he'll be able to get back in this and keep running.
I think so too, honestly. I think if anything, probably just has to switch the tires out and kind of get himself back in. But yeah, nevertheless here, I mean, honestly, the longer that these kind of situations happen, the harder it gets to really dictate the pace, dictate a strategy, especially with the way these stints have been and the way this run has been, as Christopher Gassad deciding to throw everybody a curveball, stays out. And look at this too, Dylan Jasperson, he's staying out too down there.
Oh, wow. Oh, did he have Lucky Dog maybe? Is he trying to stay out, get a lap back?
No, he's already on the lead lap, so he's literally just staying out. There is slight damage on the right front. I'm now seeing that. There is a little bit of damage there. I don't know how much that'll affect him. Sometimes it can be a blessing, and then sometimes it can be a curse. But with the way this next-gen car works, though, honestly, and I really just wish they would just start calling it Gen 7, because that's what it is. It's not a next-gen anything, but it's a Gen 7.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
at the very least, like, when these things get damaged, I've come from my recollection and my knowledge, they can either become really hard to turn and steer with, or at some cases, they actually kind of open the wheel locks up and actually give you a little bit of better run there, especially in the later half. We did see that back at Atlanta Motor Speedway there, and I know they call it Echo Park Speedway. It's still Atlanta. I don't care what anyone says. But Tyler Reddick there, he absolutely found the strategy, and he was blistering fast when he got that damage off there.
Yeah, I have heard that and seen that, you know, sometimes even some right front wheel damage can actually help you out a little bit and getting the car to come around. But yeah, I would love to know what's going through Dylan's head here, Chris. What he was thinking in staying out and what the strategy is here.
Well, usually I bring them in and kind of have a little chat, but I did already talk to Jasperson earlier, and I don't think he wants to really kind of let the drivers know his little trick he's got up his sleeve, so we'll leave him alone.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either.
Got to be careful sometimes. You know, we'll talk to a lot of folks, and we'll talk to a lot of drivers down there, but I've always said that when they're on a very specific kind of call or very specific kind of strategy, sometimes it's best to just let them let it play out and kind of throw everyone for a curveball, as Cassad actually has gone into pit road. So I hate to say this to Dylan, but that's not going to give him very much brace here, especially considering who he's right beside and behind now.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got the cream of the crop breathing down his neck for this restart. He's going to have to definitely figure it out where to go or create some room or see if that old Ford is going to be able to keep running with these boys.
I'll ask you this too real quick before we get back to the green. Of course, NASCAR Cup Series is running down there in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Who do you have as a pick to win the Indy race today?
Oh, that is a great question. You know, I saw Carson Hocevar qualify the pole position. You know, he's not my favorite driver in NASCAR right now. To be honest, I couldn't even tell you who my favorite driver is. But you know, kind of in between at the moment, trying to select my new favorite. But, you know, he's kind of been growing on me, so I think he's got a definitely good shot of pulling it out today.
I'll give you my thoughts on that in a minute here, because we're about to get ready to the restart zone here. I'll let you take the reins on this one, my good sir.
Alrighty, here we go as we're coming back to the restart zone. Dylan Jasperson, P1 after not pitting. We're taking some nose damage. Here we go, coming to the start. Green flag is out, and we are running away.
Jasper, then.
Oh, and you can already tell the damage that Dylan has. It's slow to get on the gas pedal at the restart.
Jasperson did not get off the line. That inside lane every single time has got off the line. Like you just said, that damage did more to him than we thought.
Yeah, definitely you can see he's lagging back a little bit. Oh, little contact with number 4 there.
Good driving on Dylan, though. He backed off. He knew he was going to get in trouble. I will say Buttery at Apex has not been too kind today to some of the guys. I will say this. I will remind the comment section, please keep it civil and don't be modest down there. But You can feel free to have criticisms where you like. I don't mind that. Just understand that me and our boy here in the booth may have different thoughts on it, so be aware.
Yeah, I'm gonna regard my or save my comments for that.
Oh, I don't. Why do I don't? Why do you think they call me the dead man with a hot mic in hand? I warned people. I say, if you hire me on as an announcer, I will not hold my words back. That's something I'm either respected or I'm hated for. I only get two areas of it. Some love it, some hate it. That's all I know.
Oh, trust me, I would love to say something, but I'm gonna save it for another time.
All right, fair enough. I'll be the one that does it in this case. But nevertheless, I'm liking what I see here from Malcolm. He's got the lead back away here from Sean Bounty. And again, now just trying to stay in control of his own destiny, stay focused on the lane, stay focused on the drive. You got two extremely high I-rating guys here with a 2,000 and a 3,421. Again, I know that's not, to some, a lot, very high in these cases these days, but I'd like to remind people that this isn't a league for the pro drivers. This is a league that is meant for those that want to get that early morning breakfast special, that want to get that early start to their day with something good and a little bit of a kickstart my hot situation. Shout out to Motley Crue. But Sean Bounty right now, at the moment, still desperately trying to get Malcolm back behind him. And again, the fact that he's running that bottom lane and Malcolm's keeping that outside groove, he's pretty much aero blocking, kind of keeping that thing more centered towards he liked to do. And those exits is what's killing the 34, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. He's doing exactly what he should be doing. He's trying to keep Sean caught up in his dirty air and make him work harder and burn them tires. You know, Sean just got a terrible, a tough break in that restart with Dylan in front of him and not getting going. So he's kind of had to work through that. But I think he's definitely strong here and showing his strength as he overtakes and slides back into the lead.
He may be fighting back in the lead, or maybe not, because Malcolm now closing his gap off there. He actually forced Bounty to have to drive a little bit lower to the ground there. And again, that's what I was talking about constantly. Is again, the fact that he's having to run that hard on the bottom means that he's basically having to kind of center point that thing off. And you see him, that little wiggle. That's the wiggle we talked about so much here. You cannot let the car wiggle. If it wiggles, you lose so much balance and speed in the controls. Yep. And right there, Bounty just got the wiggle. He got too low, and he was trying so hard to push that thing. Malcolm forced him there, and that's brilliant strategy by Malcolm. But the Bounty, well, let's just say as a driver right now, I'd be saying a few words I will not be able to say ever on this show. And dude, Dylan Jackson, ouch, smashed the wall off turn number 2 there. That was a nasty hit.
Oh, I didn't see it. Was he all by himself?
He was all by himself. Well, we'll go to the Speed Zone TV Instant Replay, brought to you in part by Dead Man's Hit List. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, the Howling 26, again, that damage on that right front, I think, honestly, is kind of hurting him more than anything. And he just got loose right out the corner there, but looks like didn't take more damage than it was already worth. I mean, he's going to pit road now, which is a smart thing, but that definitely cost him precious time there.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we didn't know what he was working with beforehand, but again, like we've been talking about this whole race, this turn 2 demands respect. So if he just got into it a little bit early, definitely, like we were just talking about, that little wiggle is detrimental here.
And Bounty finally getting back on the scene, back on the drive again. Bounty's not going to give up. Oh, whoa! He got loose off turn 2. I think that's the first time we've seen him get loose this time.
Oh, wow, look, we're seeing him push. We're seeing him finally get aggressive here towards the late stages of this race.
I gotta believe Bounty right now is really cursing the stars and garters of this car and everything around right now, because he just wants that extra bit of momentum to catch Malcolm off guard. But Malcolm has just been absolutely taking this thing to work in and fire up on all cylinders like that.
Now, we still got 25 laps in this race, though, so I think there's plenty of racing left. And like I said, as long as Sean continues to keep this gap where it's at and continue to stay consistent, I bet, or I hope we can see another window for some more opportunity for some more action here.
I think, honestly, just the fact that we're getting as close as we are right now with this kind of level of playing field, this kind of speed, that just gives you just an idea of how tough it is and how strong the level of competition is right now. Bounty, I almost want to say he's in desperation mode, as he's got another run coming on turn 2. Can he finally get it to stick? That's the big thing. If he gets turn 3 to stick, he can level out turn 4 by building a little more speed. Malcolm will have to overdrive it off the exit, and that wall protection doesn't come quickly.
Looks like Sean had to lift out a little bit, give him space. They are just trading back and forth. Neither one seemed to have the real edge.
I've been trying to get some more focus on the other drivers down there, race fans, but I've always said if the action's hot, we don't switch lanes. We keep it where the action is. That's what you fans came to see, and that's what you wanted to get. And right now, you're getting every bit of it. At the moment, Samuel Mitchell in the 33, though, he's only about a second and 8/10 back. He has a chance here. If these two make a mistake, like you said earlier with Gassad and Jaspin, before Jaspin had to go to pit road, they were looking for hopefully that big break or that big shot here when these two start fighting each other. Man, they are fighting each other with all they've got.
Yeah, but it's crazy that even with them fighting back and forth, P3 is just does not seem to be on pace with them. It seems like these two have a commanding pace over the rest of the field.
Well, I don't know if you were listening to me earlier when I was even mentioning this here, but I always refer to this kind of racing as like sprint car racing. In sprint cars, and I don't know how much you know about sprint cars and dirt tracks, but in a full-fledged like 305 to 360 and 410 sprint car, there's usually 2 or 3 drivers that get it figured out. And again, you only have so many laps to work with, so you are full speed, full throttle, full end on it. You are not getting out of that throttle as much as you have to, and you're having to literally keep everyone behind you and hope that no one else finally catches up to you. So basically on those restarts, it's always 2 drivers side by side battling hard right out of the gate, but as soon as one gets away and starts moving, then it's a fight to figure out whether or not the other driver can catch them, while the rest of the field either deals with mid-pack madness by kind of getting into it one another, or they're slow enough to where the leaders have to basically go through lap traffic. And that's what, again, we see a lot of when we're running this kind of position as Luke Dietz here. Not sure what happened to the 84, but he did look like I did get a word that he had crashed down there. So we'll go and take a look at the Speed Zone TV Instant Replay brought to you by Dead Man's Hit List. And yeah, he definitely, I'm surprised this didn't cause a caution because he came to almost a dead stop here off turn 2. Take a look at it right here, the Miller Lite machine. He just gets loose on himself there. Good.
Looks like we might have a wreck in the backstretch.
Not seeing anything on my end here. We'll try to put the 5 video back up here. There is smoke. I think what we were seeing was Joshua Hayes down there.
The same wreck. Okay.
No, that was Joshua Hayes,
Yeah.
not Luke Diaz there.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. You're new to this. You're just getting in. You're just getting your feet wet and getting yourself new to the show. Yeah, it was the 12 there. Hayes got loose off turn number 2. Same position. Turn 2 tonight has just been it's out for blood. But again, I'm surprised that we didn't get a caution out of it. I'm glad we didn't, obviously. I want to keep this going green, but, you know, Hayes slipped up and wrecked that whole thing around. Now he's got it refired here with 17 laps left to go, and right at the moment, I think, honestly, lap traffic may have hurt Bounty again. This is what I was talking about sprint car racing. When you have to go through lap traffic in a sprint car, there's only 2 things they can do. It either hurts the leader, or it gives the leader a chance to help block that second-place driver behind him trying to catch up, because there's drivers looking for multiple lanes, multiple spots. In this case, it's the same situation, and it was the great Big Bill France that had said one time, even the leader's got to pass somebody.
Yeah, eventually when they come back around, there'll always be some traffic, huh? That's the kicker, is the guys that can figure out how to do that effectively, quickly, and safely, and the guys that struggle and send it deep and just, don't really have any racecraft.
Indeed, indeed. Now let's take a look at the time delta gap here, presented in part by us here at Speed Zone TV. Here, this one we're looking at right now is between Mitchell, Shriver, and Kelva. Now, the sea of green there in the first couple laps was what Shriver was gaining some ground on there with Mitchell, but Kelva actually pretty much hasn't been able to figure out anything ever since then either. He had a little bit of some ground clearance there he was getting on Shriver, but now ever since lap 117 then on, he hasn't built any extra. So I think what Nick's strategy was earlier, which was lay low for the back half and then put the fiery vengeance on everyone else with this whiskey burning Fireball Machine 17. I think honestly that now is kind of settled in to what he wanted to do here.
Yeah, I don't know if he poured a handle of a Fireball into his gas tank at the last pit stop or what, but he has definitely lit a fire into that car and is, like you said, pulling revenge out of his rear end and lighting the tires, burning the fires, doing everything he needs to do to get this thing up in the lead, up in the front.
When you said he would put some of that fireball in the engine, I couldn't help but
Yeah.
think of old Smokey Eunuch. That sounds like something that mad lad would have done. Hey, I'm just saying, I wouldn't put it past Smokey or Junior Johnson. And everyone always like loves to claim Junior Johnson was like a man above boys. I'd like to remind people, Smokey Eunuch basically taught everything Junior Johnson figured out. Like, if it wasn't
absolutely.
for Smokey... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. No, I was going to say, oh, yeah, absolutely. That's where, you know, you got to learn it from somewhere. You got to have a role model, right?
Exactly. And, like, the thing with Smokey Eunuch, and I still argue to this day, he needs to be in the Hall of Fame already. I can't even believe he's not in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. That dude pretty much wrote most of... Oh, trouble! Left turn number 2 there. This time it's Malcolm. Malcolm Bernabé lost it on turn number 2 there, and that just handed the race lead to the bounty hunter.
Oh, huge change of events here, and just like I've been talking about the whole race. What has Sean been looking for? He's been looking for that window, and guess what just opened? He hopped right through it.
It was like a thief of the night. He saw the window open and basically just took it away from him. I really don't know if Malcolm just overdrove it on turn number 2 or whatnot, but yeah, it looked like what you were saying earlier. He's been driving so hard on that outside lane, then when he finally switches up to the bottom, just threw him for a complete 180. He did switch down into 4th gear. And, you know, I talked to you guys earlier about that, and you said some of you find it better to use in turn number 1 and 2 to help get the tires to rotate. But that time, it looked like because he's used up so much of those tires, that one bit, the number 1. And, man, that couldn't have been the worst possible time if I have ever seen one.
Well, you got to think about it. Whenever you shift down in these cars, or in any car, you shift down, you're in the higher end of that RPM range, you got more torque spinning that axle. So the tires are going to be trying to spin faster. You're wearing those tires out without even thinking about it. That's why a lot of guys will run this track in 5th gear until they really just need that extra torque to just pull them around a corner, like if they're really battling for a position. But I'm pretty sure, like I'm not sure, I haven't been in the cockpit with Sean this whole race. You know, I'm not sure what he's doing, but from talking to him, you know, previously, I'm pretty sure he runs this almost in 5th gear, almost the whole race. Like I said, unless he really needs that extra torque. So if he's been saving them tires, running in 5th gear, and Malcolm hasn't, you know, that's definitely probably part of why Malcolm had the issue and got loose, and now why Sean has the lead.
Speaking of running in 4th or 5th gear right now, we're on board here with Reese Kelva, and I just wanted to kind of notice something here. He's actually in 4th gear the whole way around the track.
Oh wow, I wonder if he has some kind of damage.
Hard to really say. It doesn't look. He did get a little bit tight there off turn number 4 there, and again, that's been kind of the name game here all day. Is turn 4, when you're coming off that turn, if you're in the wrong gear in the wrong spot, well, let's just say it's basically a no man's land to end up in the skies above. But
he's got to be hitting the governor there on them straights.
He's hitting something down there, but I don't know if it's necessarily the speed zone because he's getting good traction, but in my opinion, he's revving the heck out of that engine right now, and he's got to be careful because, again, the motor can only take so much, and that, well, I know how bad that oil tank is in these cars.
Gotta keep up with that oil temperature.
Crazy to think, though, that, again, Bounty just being so patient and so conservative, and Malcolm just gave him that one big opening. And now we look on as Bounty, again, continues to hold the race lead. Bounty did switch from 5th to 4th there in first and 2nd turn. He's now back at 5th, entering into turn number 3 and 4. So,
yeah, I think he's just trying to run away with you here now, Chris. Like you said, like we were saying, he's got the lead now. We're coming to the end of the race. Lap 130. We only got 5 left. He is just trying to get as much distance between him and P2 as he can.
I do like what I just saw there, though. What Bounty just did there, I don't know if you fans caught it, but notice a lot of drivers earlier would shift quicker into 4th gear, entering into turn 1 and turn 2. That time, Bounty, notice when if you were listening carefully, folks, he actually had basically let the car settle completely down till he was right at the very exit. Yes, right at the very exit of that thing.
Yep. That's the difference between a pro and a rookie level driver. Pro drivers will let the car settle, let the RPMs fall out of that that ideal range and back into the ideal range of the lower gear before they shift. And you can definitely see it in his driving here.
You can see every bit of it and every bit of control. Matthew McGill getting me a little nervous there. Rear end slipping out of turn 2. I know it's been done all night, but... And Nico Shriver right now, he's got a problem. He's slowing up tremendously here, as now McGill has made his way around him on the inside.
Definitely lost some pace there.
He's lost a lot of pace. He's back into the 6th spot now. Again, that's nothing to sneeze at with a 13-car field. But this late in the race, positioning matters, and points, honestly, are going to matter quite a bit. Down to the final 2 laps, though, this time here, Jonathan. It's time now to get this finished up. Bounty just needs to get one more time around, and he's going to get that white flag to finish this race no matter what.
Absolutely, and he's got to be, you know, sighing in relief in his cockpit being almost 2 seconds ahead of P2 and running away with it. All he's got to do is keep doing what he's been doing all night, all day, and he'll come across with checkered.
Pulling her right off to turn number 3 into 4. Race fans, this is your white flag lap presented by the Dead Man's Hit List. And Bounty now looking to claim another bounty tonight. This dude literally is going to be the one to watch out for, and he is the one everyone warned about, and they said that he was pretty much going to be the top dog no matter what through here. But I'll give Malcolm his flowers tonight. He made Bounty work for it, and only had gotten that one bobble from Malcolm. It cost him dearly, because on turn number 3 and 4 coming for home, it's the Bounty Hunter back to victory lane tonight here in Texas.
Great race here at Texas, everyone. Phenomenal time to be here in the Lone Star State and see such great action, great driving.
Indeed, indeed, my friend. And honestly, now knowing that there is some competition for Bounty and there's a lot of heavy hitters that were keeping their pace and keeping him honest throughout, I gotta believe that there will be a numerous amount of drivers that will certainly make him work for every single race to win this season. But he's going to bring it right around the front straightaway here, and thankfully doesn't have to worry about some bricks to have to not burn out on. The 34 Bounty going to lay down a little show for the fans.
Here we go. Burn him down. Did we miss a caution? Was there something that could have been cautioned? I didn't see anything.
No, nothing. No, like I said, there was multiple spins earlier, but like I said, there was no cautions that popped out from there.
He said somebody was sideways in the backstretch. I missed that one.
No, there was a whole bunch of them that were sideways in the backstretch. I caught every one of them, though, that I saw on my end. But nevertheless, the iRacing gods didn't call it, and the results are officially in. Let's take a look at them now, presented by Lightning Wraps here. Sean Bounty, once again on our bounty claim for the Bounty Hunter. He's going to get this one. Malcolm Bernabe, though, he did everything he had to get this one, and he was so close, too. I'll give him his flowers on that one. Samuel Mitchell, despite being 7 seconds back, he stayed true to his strategy, playing out a good one, and got himself in a third. Reese Kelva, he goes in fourth, and like he said earlier, he was just happy to be anywhere near that top 5. He was doing a great job there. Matthew McGill going to get himself a top 5 as well, despite numerous troubles early and late into the run. Next driver here, again, going to go 6th, Aaron Giheb. Lap down, unfortunately, just puts him in that position. He goes 7th, 8th to Christopher Cassad. Luke Dietz going 9th and 10th to Dylan Jasperson. That rounds out your top 10 bracket. Now, race fans, when we come back, we're going to have a chat with our top 3. Stay tuned with us.
Is your day not going so well? Might as well just put on them headphones. Let's.
I was looking for the steal, hearing or watching from the grandstands. Nobody wants to miss this chance. Hitting over 8 wilders and RPMs. Cars feeling like it's going to spin. Not gonna let these tires slip out under me, because I'm coming up past the top 3.
Whoa.
You can't stop but won't stay dead, 'cause there's a dead man racing right up ahead.
All right, race fans, we're back now live here down in Fort Worth, Texas, here in the Lone Star State. We'll see a Lone Star with a bounty on its side. The 34, Sean Bounty getting into victory lane here today. Here, and Sean, congratulations, getting it done once more. A very, very long road there, and man, you had to definitely work for this one because Berta Bay was not going to exactly just let you take this one multiple times there. Talk me through this.
He had me questioning a few things sometimes. I know I was backing off quite a bit, and then I watched him whenever he wanted to make a big run, like throughout the course of the race, he'd run a higher line in 3 and 4, and he'd catch me, and that's a short-term gain. And I just kept calculating every single time he would run the higher line and to see where our tire wear would stack up, and then through a couple cycles he would get the lead, and I just kind of first time I let him run up front and see if he'd wear out his tires, and then we were a bit more evenly matched than I anticipated. He'd run the higher and get a good exit on the in the 3 and 4, and I'd run lower and just close the gap on entry. But overall, I think I had better tire wear running the bottom. And so when I was spending most of my time kind of like up against his bumper and on his inside, most of those runs, I wasn't even trying to pass him. I was just trying to keep him up on that outer groove to wear those tires out. So if we got a later, longer run, he might, lose that grip and basically do what he did that I ran back into the lead for again. But yeah, we kept getting a couple of cautions. We couldn't get on those long runs, and it was going to take a really long run for either one of us to slip up with one of those little issues. But yeah, that was a hell of a race, hell of a run. I started panicking there a little bit at the end because I knew if I couldn't get his tires worn out enough, then it would be a little too difficult to pass him, to make the full pass on the inside coming out of 4.
Jonathan?
Yeah, Chris. I mean, I don't. Just going back and forth, going back during the race. I don't know how many times I said this to Chris, but Sean, I mean, it just shows your racecraft and your overall maturity. I don't know how many times I said during Chris that I think that's exactly what your plan was and what your strategy was not necessarily to make those quick passes and try to get around him, but you were trying to see what he would do, wear his tires out, and then wait for that window, wait for that door to open, which it did at the end of the race, and you were able to slide right by him and just pull away with the race. Just going back and thinking, with all the cautions that we had, I want to go back to that last caution, especially with Dylan. Like, what was going through your head, like with him being slow? Did you think you were still going to be able to get over in time?
Coming to the restart, you mean?
Yeah, to that restart. Sorry.
I was worried. I was worried that I couldn't make a gap in the middle lane, or that he would ride somewhere between the middle and I couldn't go up or down. And if Malcolm got more than a second and a half of lead, I was going to eat up my tires trying to catch back up to him. So I would have had to done it a lot slower than I did. But yeah, fortunately I saw a hole, and yeah, I mean, I had like every strategy I could think of figured out what to do. And that's most of the battles. Like, people say, what's your plan? What's your strategy? And especially at like plate tracks, what's your strategy kind of thing. It's like, you don't really have a strategy. The experience just says, recognize all the different scenarios. So when they happen, you're not trying to plan it in the moment. And that's when it gets you caught up. And that's where experience would come in, just to help you not panic and stay in control when the scenario you recognize happens that you can adjust to.
Well, nevertheless, here, Bounty, you were able to get the strategy put into the place and be able to keep things under control. Who are we thanking here tonight?
It's just, as always, gotta thank Citadel for putting this thing on, for starting up this new series. We're starting to get a lot of good faces. That was a hell of a fun battle. I got to thank Malcolm for helping us put on a show too. Yeah, that was a lot of fun running around here with him. Definitely with you guys at Speed Zone TV putting on the broadcast, because I'm sure it's going to be a fun one to come back to.
Certainly the case indeed. Well, nevertheless, Bounty, thanks so much for tuning on in here today, my friend, and congratulations getting it done here into Victory Lane.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Bounty, the number 34, getting it done here today. Well, we're supposed to have the other finishers as well here. Malcolm Bernabe here. He is not in the chat as well. And it looks
he
like
is down in 8-bit racing here. I can pull him up. Sorry. You ready?
I don't even see 8-bit racing. I don't see none of that stuff.
Oh, I can see it. You want me to pull him up?
Yeah, make sure I'll have to tell the boss man to make sure that we open up some teams so I can pull guys in.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get that fixed.
All right.
Did he just? Okay, here he comes. Are you ready?
Yeah, we got him. Malcolm, you got a copy down there?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, Malcolm, welcome here onto the show here, and congratulations getting it done, second place tonight. I mean, other than obviously us trying to figure out how to say the last name right, I kept saying Bernabe, and then my boy here said something else. But Malcolm, you certainly figured something out, though. You put the bounty hunter in his place quite a few times, and it looked like you had this thing figured out until turn 2 struck. What on earth was going through your head and through your mind there when you were battling that hard bounty until that final little leg there?
Yeah, I think, yeah, Sean, obviously from the jump, I could kind of tell he was the fastest guy on the track, which, no big deal, but anyone that races the next gens enough knows that clean air is everything on these next gen cars. So I told myself if I could push hard for about 2-3 laps just to get in front of them, I could keep them behind me, and that's pretty much what I did for a majority of the race. Unfortunately, they're out of turn 2. My feline cat, love him to death, but hit my accelerator a little earlier than I would have liked, rubbing his head on it.
Oh,
so got loose out of
man.
turn 2, and that was it. But yeah, I definitely felt like had the race won. My plan was I knew he was going to catch me, and when he did, I was going to make him run the bottom because the outside line was faster in the short run. I mean, it was only like a 30-lap run, so the tire wear wasn't too bad. But I kind of listened to what he was talking about saving the tires, and you definitely need to. There was a couple runs there where it was just about long enough to where it made sense to save the tires, and we both did a really good job of doing that. I kind of was just setting my pace trying to save the tires, and he was content to hang down there below me. And yeah, no, overall it was a good race, but it was a lot of fun cutting it up with him, and look forward to doing it again next week.
Great race from you here, Malcolm. Great performance, just like we were talking about. We were kind of going back and forth with Sean about the tire wear, and do you think that we're running that outside line it affect your tires at all? Later in that last stint, right before the checkered.
Not so much in the last stint. I feel like you can get away with doing that here and there. Obviously, you want to run the bottom as much as you can. So as long as he wasn't on my inside, I would run the bottom. But for a 30, I think it was like 35 or 34 lap run to the finish there, doesn't really affect the tires as much. When I was running the bottom for like the 40, and I think we had like a 45 lap run, I think I came in and my tires were at like 75% on the right rear. So we were doing a great job saving the tires. But if you're trying to make the move, you got to do it around the outside, and it's definitely worth the trade-off for a couple laps just to get in front and get that clean air.
Definitely cursing the cat today.
Yeah, we love him to death, but yeah, that's on me. I should have closed the door, and yeah.
Well, nevertheless, here, Malcolm, congratulations getting it done here for second. Who are we thanking here today besides the cat?
Want to thank my fearless leader, Joe Chacon, for inviting me to this league, although he didn't show up, so shout out to that. Shout out, Joe. Hopefully we'll see you here next week, buddy. And yeah, and Sean, it was really fun racing with you, man. And also shout out Sam, teammate, finishing P3 there, so it was a good result for us here at 8-Bit.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, Malcolm, appreciate it coming on by here today. Congratulations getting done for second place once more.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Malcolm Bernabe going to get it done here today for the second spot. Do we have Samuel Mitchell still around with us?
I have him.
All right, go ahead and bring him up here. Let's bring him and talk. All right, he joins us now here in the third place finish here today. Here, Samuel Mitchell joining us here for a third place finish. And Samuel, congratulations putting this 8-Bit racing machine into the bracket and into a third spot. I know obviously you weren't quite probably where you wanted to be for the race leaders and that, but you still stayed consistent and put everyone else behind you. That data has definitely taken a lot of work and effort there, how to work the wheel and that steering down there.
Yeah, man. I think my strategy. I know I'm not faster than Malcolm. I race with him all the time, and I knew Sean was going to be a fierce competitor based on practice. So I think I was just trying to be consistent. I knew I wasn't going to. I wanted to have some skin in the game for sure, but this is not a track I race a lot. So just trying to learn from them and keep up with the pace really was my strategy.
Yeah, you talked about your consistency, and that was definitely your sword in the sheath today. You were consistent all the way through. I didn't think we saw really any issues from you. Really, the one thing that I kind of want to ask you is, how was dodging the traffic?
It was, man, that was the difficult part. And it kind of affected the tire wear a little bit. So I was towards the end of those longer runs, I was struggling a little bit coming out of 2, getting loose, and just trying to find the groove of the track and what was going to work. Getting through the traffic was tough, but it made it fun,
Absolutely, it was absolutely a great race today.
Thanks, guys.
That said, Samuel, who are we thinking here for this top 3 finish today, good sir?
Oh, man, I've got to thank Joe Chacon for getting us in here, of course, the 8-bit fearless leader, and then I don't know, just you guys for putting this on and putting this series up for us to get in here and have some fun on the Sunday mornings.
For sure there. Well, Samuel, appreciate your time here today, and congratulations getting it done for our top 3.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one last time here for your 3rd place finisher, Samuel Mitchell in the 33. Well, Jonathan, that's about it, my friend.
Yes, sir. Great racing. Great job, everyone, today. And thanks for coming out and watching. Appreciate you for having me up here, Chris. Thanks for letting me raid the booth.
For sure there. Hopefully we keep you on the track longer so you can actually get some harder racing in there with these guys. But, hey, whenever you want, feel free to jump in. We'll get you used to being kind of our backup guy once you're out of the car.
Appreciate it, Chris.
For sure. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here for the night. Thank you again here to Lightning Wraps and Deadman Sealess for helping sponsor for Citadel Next Gens and everyone else for tuning on in. You've been a pleasure to talk and chat with. But nevertheless, it is time for us to go. We'll see you next time when the green flag flies right here on Speed Zone TV.